Hey, what's up everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. It is hot and steamy out here, boy. A little bit of a breeze right where I'm walking, but that sun is baking today, man. But got what I needed. Grabbed myself some more pants and some more socks. I hadn't bought myself anything like that in probably almost a year, maybe a little more than that. But I've lost 2 pants recently to splits in the middle of them. I don't even know. I think it's just a laundry machine wear and tear on cheap material. But I grabbed some more of the same, just a different color, some navies, so that I have them in rotation. Next time I may buy some different ones. I tried on some fatigues, but I didn't like how they looked on me, so I went against that. But yeah, man, it's just another day at it. Honestly, nothing special. Just can't wait to get back in the house, feel that AC. Walking in the sun has just not been something I've wanted to do this year. Even though it's actually not nearly as hot of a summer as 2 years ago, when I definitely walked around in it a lot and didn't seem to have too much of a problem with it. Now it's a little different. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or lazier minded, I don't know, but I try to stay away from the heat altogether this summer. Yeah, man, made a video earlier today talking about these politicians and how the Democrats and the Republicans essentially want their people to look at things as if they have to vote for one of their candidates, or else they're being irresponsible and childish in allowing the other side to win. And my point of view is I reject that notion entirely. I reject that as somebody who's left the Democratic Party, but even if I were still a part of it, I reject that notion. If you put somebody in front of me that I can get along, get with, get behind, or don't expect me to vote for you. That's it. That's all it is to it. And my criteria is my own. I'm not saying that your criteria for what it is that'll make you trust some politician is the same as mine, but the litmus test at this point is whether or not you support genocide or take money from one of these Zionist PACs, AIPAC, or the 1,000 other ones that they have. And there are many. So don't think for 1 second just because someone doesn't take money from AIPAC and they're not taking money from Israel or Zionists. There are other PACs. So yeah, man, that's something I just wanted to say. That's a litmus test for whether or not you're a decent human being, period, in my opinion. If you don't support the pro-Palestinian cause in 2026, is one of 2 things I'm looking at. Either you don't know what's going on, or you're an awful human being. That's pretty much it. There ain't no two ways about it. Zionist supremacy is racism and evil. And I am firmly against it, and I don't care who likes that or doesn't like that. I don't care what people think about that. I'm more so interested in what they think about what I'm talking about as it pertains to what side are you on when it comes to that. If you're fine with Zionists killing babies to protect themselves, then obviously you're a devil worshiper, or someone adjacent to devil worship, and needs to be far away from me. It ain't deeper than that. It's not more complicated than that. I'm not gonna make it sound like it is. It's that simple. Very simple. And so that's essentially what we were talking about in the last video. I'm not gonna let these people guilt trip me into a dang thing anymore. As a child, they guilt tripped me into supporting things that I wasn't sure about, that I didn't have the full information on, that I'd been lied to about, various different things in regards to this country. Politics, pledges to allegiance, and singing songs celebrating the massacring of my ancestors. I'm not doing any of that shit anymore. I'm not doing any of that shit anymore. I'm letting everybody know I'm not doing any of that. You know what I mean? I just, when I say, and look, you can call me anti-American if you want. That's your business. Again, I'm not, like, the older I get, the more confident I feel that I'm on the right side of things when I say, I could care less what you think about that. I know where I'm from. I've never lived anywhere else but this country. I love the land. You understand? I love the land. I'm from the land. I love the land. You can call it whatever you want. Many people can reign over this thing over the course of time. I love the land. As far as who's running it right now and the flag that's waving, I don't really get none of that. No, I'm not with any of that. That's a swastika. That's a swastika to me at this point. I'm looking at one right now. That's a swastika. You understand what I'm saying to you? So all this racism stuff that they're trying to push down our throats, be anti-Muslim, be anti-Mexican, be I'm against all of that, man. I'm not with none of that. I'm not going to ever be with any of that. Because I know what it stems from. I know why it's in place. That's not how things are supposed to be. That's how the people who've taken over our country want things to be, so that they can control us and their people over there. As I said many times this week, racism is a leash around the necks of the people. If you wear it, expect to be led around. If you don't wear it, you have a bit more freedom. And that's exactly what I'm after, freedom. And if y'all want to go around and continue to parade around this country and talk about the hypocrisy that's supposed to stand on, I was listening to, who was it? Somebody we really liked, too. What's his name? Damn, I can't think of homeboy's name. But he's standing on the right side of this Israel Palestinian genocidal situation. He's on the right side of it. But some of his talking points I still don't support. I wish I knew what his name was. Hey, buddy. Wish I knew what homie's name was. Candace really likes him. I think he's going to run for president, too. He has a podcast on every day. Just sat down with Stephen A. very recently. But his position, did I tell you, man? His position, they're moral, but they're still white supremacist jaded, man. They're still white supremacist jaded in the sense that there's a certain oblivion. Go ahead. There's a certain oblivion that comes with that position as supreme and trying to protect your supremacy and take pride on the fact that you have this land and it was built upon, fairness and all. It wasn't built upon fairness. That was language. Okay? In one of his monologues a couple of days ago, he was talking about this country was built on the principles of fairness. And fairness should be across the board. If we're going to do things correctly, it should be fairness across the board. If you're going to actually do things correctly, you're going to admit that was gaslighting language that never actually had any merit to it. That it was fairness for some, not for all. When they wrote it, that's what they meant. But they weren't going to write it that way because that sounded bad. They understood how bad their positions were historically. But don't be confused to think those people meant justice for all, liberty for all. They didn't. They're all excluded some people. And we need to start, if not already, acknowledging that the forefathers were liars. They knew what would sound good. They knew what they should be doing, and they chose not to do it. That's all that tells me. It's the same old gaslighting bullshit that we get from white supremacy and all its factions. Zionists can point out colonizers in other situations. We talked about this very recently. They pointed out how Spain colonized parts of, what's that country that we saw people run into very recently. Tried to turn the tide on them, saying, oh, because we're doing this and you did that, you should be supporting us on this. They know when they're doing evil. They know what should not be accepted. They're just in control of the narrative, and so they can twist it and turn it whatever way they want. But they never meant to hold themselves to the standards that they hold others to. They break those rules because they have the ability to, and no one's there to hold them accountable. They're liars, man. They're hypocrites on purpose. They're gaslighters on purpose. They never meant for liberty for all. Never. They were in the process of genociding people when they wrote that shit. Stop telling this generation that those people meant well. They didn't mean well. Stop telling me that Constitution was written with the intention of everybody having fair treatment. They didn't treat people fair when they were writing it. And I need people who are alive today to stop acting that like they're naive, is to think that their ancestors were good people. They were not good people. They were devil worshippers. They were slaves to the Rothschilds and the billionaires, just like we find ourselves being today. There was no different. They were trying to build the nonsense that we have today that allows for us to be as compromised as we see our government being. They laid the foundation for that hypocrisy. Don't give me that they should be celebrated for any damn thing. Those people weren't celebrated. They shouldn't be celebrated for anything. They were cheaters. They were liars. They were slavers. They were genociders. They were rapists. They were hypocrites. And that is exactly what they're going to be known for if you're listening to me. You celebrate no Christopher Columbus and all these damn evil ass white presidents that came before. I ain't celebrating none of them people because I know what they stood for, and we see what transpired or what it is they passed forward. Genocide in 2026, dead babies in our phone, and a bunch of people acting like it ain't happening. That's what they passed to us. That's what they relayed to us. Constitution's being discarded of by the people who control this land right now, just like it was being discarded of by the people who wrote it. Now, if we want to take what's in that Constitution and try to live by it, then we can say that we are standing better than them. But don't tell me that that's what they stood for when they were going around killing people while writing that nonsense. Don't tell me that. They're still vilifying those same people's descendants right now. It's nonsense. So that's what I want to tell people, man. We got to stand up and stand firm, and don't allow people who are trying to push forward, relay forward to our descendants the same nonsense that was relayed to us, same unfair nonsense that is backed by righteous rhetoric. Anybody can write a script, and any literate dummy can read it. You understand what I'm saying to you? Enough of this. If it ain't really justice for all and we're accounting for everybody who exists, black, white, and everything in between and around it, then don't give me nothing about the righteousness of this country, because this country is only as righteous as its willingness to hold itself accountable for the evil that it has always done. And that it is refusing to do so while passing forward those same evils tells me that it was just babble. Gaslighting. Taunting even. I don't want to hear it. I will not romanticize murderers and genociders and rapists and slavers. I will not romanticize them, just like I won't romanticize the people who are alive today who are doing that shit and celebrating that shit. I don't care who they are or what position they've taken or what they did leading up to this point in other areas of life. If this is what they've done, this is the litmus test for whether or not they should be considered as human as the rest of us. That's point blank, period. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. We saw what we saw. You did what you did. It's all in front of us now. We're looking at it all, and we're not pleased with what we see, and we're reacting to it. If you have a problem with that, do something about yourselves. That will solve your problem, because we'll stop reacting to the nonsense you do when you stop doing that nonsense. But if you're going to keep on doing it, then expect resistance. You could try to silence us. You could try to take away our loud individuals by assassinating them or our leaders and all of that, and you're just going to give birth to more of the same. Resistance is natural when we see unfairness and mistreatments, particularly of innocent people. All the nonsense that's going on, y'all want to get on the people of the 20s, and rightfully so, who engaged in the Holocaust, want to look back. In 6th grade, I tell you, Blessed Sacrament, I learned about how this country put Japanese people in concentration camps and how awful that was and how shameful that was, only to see them do that same thing in my lifetime to Spanish people right now and immigrants of many kinds right now. They're in concentration camps. They're doing god-awful things to these people every day. I see some footage coming out of one of them concentration camps where people are talking about how the food isn't right, how the water has worms in it, how they're not getting medical treatment, all types of diseases that are curable are running rampant in that place, people being discarded of, young girls as young as 10 years old coming back pregnant with guards, babies left and right, and they send those girls pregnant to undisclosed places to do God knows what to them and them children that they haven't. Don't tell me nothing about what they did back in the 20s with no damn Holocaust or tell me anything about what they did to the Japanese when they doing that shit right now. I don't want to hear that. We never put down those behaviors, America. Never stopped. And you always gave people rhetoric that aligned with what it is that you thought they wanted to hear, but you never behaved that way. You're not going to start until somebody holds you accountable. BDL 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.